Here's the deal. If you live in the United States and you have a black infant, breastfeeding isn't some lifestyle choice. It's a matter of public health.
Don't deny it. Don't be discouraged from it. Don't look at it as a negative thing or, my wife, my girlfriend is out in public with her breasts out. Don't look at it that way. It's your child eating. Your child needs to eat.
I am doing research on breastfeeding promotion, and so I visited a daycare and I asked them, what do you do with breast milk? Can moms bring their breast milk here? And yes. And what do you do with it? Is it they store it, they label it? And my next question was, how many of your black moms are bringing milk? And it was 0. There were several white moms who would bring their milk in, but it was 0 black moms.
If you've got breasts, they got milk in them, why wouldn't you breastfeed your own child? If the child just came out of your body, how could something outside of your body be better for your child?
My sons didn't have ear infection a lot. Neither one of them had ear infection. They weren't colicky. They were pretty healthy babies. We had our normal colds and things.
That's the big benefit of breastfeeding, is that you're going to meet your baby's needs.
For my son August, it's just seeing him grow up, being a breast for a baby. He just seems like he's full of energy. He's healthy.
It gives that child a sense of comfort, and awareness, that you can't get from just a bottle.
Cow's milk is made for a cow. Breast milk is made for a human child. It's coming, it's something God created for us to have to produce for our children.
It still stimulated some of the same regions or brain regions I could observe.
That mother-infant bond and knowing that I can help mom get started on providing such an amazing medicine, right? Because milk is medicine.
Human breast milk may be the most powerful liquid on planet Earth. To say it's life-changing doesn't even begin to do it justice. Breast milk is a big deal. It sustains life, it heals. It's a building block of energy, bonding mom and baby for eternity. So the question remains, how do we make it a public health issue and not a matter of lifestyle choice?
Most African-American moms, black moms, don't really hear and receive those messages about the benefits of breastfeeding and how it's going to help their entire family.
I rarely had any sickness or illness within my household because your milk kind of transitions to formulate to give them the antibodies that they need. So I actually mark my bag. So if my son has the sniffles, I'll pump that milk and I'll mark a cold. So I know next time he has a cold, let me dig through my stash for the milk that I've labeled cold.
And there's a lot of protein in formula. So that's why babies have problems with colic, they call it, or fussy babies and things, because their digestive system can't break down a protein. Dad should be there with the mom. So I've heard a lot of dads say, well, there's not much I can do. She's feeding, I can't even feed the baby. I don't have anything. But you can burp, you can hold.
Taking a lot off my shoulders. Like, I'm not the only one dedicated to breastfeeding my boys. He's dedicated with me, so it's a team effort. Yes, I produce the milk, but it's a team effort in that he also helps me to be able to do those things, like allowing me to be able to go work out, and then I come home and he has all of my things set out, because it takes a lot to wash all of these little pieces and put them back in a pump bag and get them ready to go.
During slavery times, when the wet nurse didn't have enough milk and no other moms were available, the solutions were cow's milk and dirty water. That's the legacy of infant mortality, and we have to face it honestly. So wet nursing was a concept during the slave era where white women used black women who were slaves, enslaved, as commodity. So if a woman was at that childbearing age and she had a baby and that baby died, then she was still producing and lactating. So she was a commodity to be able to feed those white babies for their mistresses. Historian, author, professor, Dr. Joy DeGruy, she speaks very extensively about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And so those impacts of actually having been a part of that slave trade, that slave life, that slaves endured, carries on to have lifelong trauma. Babies are skin to skin with their mother. There's a neurological exchange that happens so that babies feel connected, they grow, they thrive, and that happens when they have that connection. So black moms and black babies were actually separated, and that disconnection happened early on, literally at birth. The impact of actually having to work immediately postpartum when the female body needs time to heal. And so that healing process never even happened. So from a physical standpoint, women were actually worked and overworked. From a mental standpoint, there was a disconnect between mom and baby. And then from a psychological standpoint, it created issues with postpartum depression that, again, were not addressed. So after women started to get to a place where they were no longer valuable because they were either crying or they had issues due to the separation, they were sold off.
I will let them know that if they support breastfeeding, then they're increasing the likelihood that their baby's going to survive to their first birthday.